Two new charges in this federal case.
Murder for hire and use of a machine gun.
Lil Durk's rise to prominence in the rap world is a journey filled with intense rivalries, tragic losses, and a relentless drive to succeed. His story, intertwined with the streets of Chicago, is a testament to the highs and lows of fame in the drill music scene. Today we dive into the key moments that shaped his life and career, exploring the events that have made him one of the most talked about figures in hip-hop.
Mr. Durk, how you doing today?
Well, since I'm doing your interview, I feel way better.
Well, how did growing up in difficult situations in Chicago build up your work ethic and motivate you to succeed?
The city itself, you know what I'm saying, all the pain, all the struggle we've been through. You know what I'm saying, I just take all that as motivation, you know, outside of family, because family number one.
From the beginning, Lil Durk, born Dirk Derrick Banks, was surrounded by the harsh realities of Chicago's South Side. Growing up in a city plagued by systemic inequalities, gang rivalries, and economic challenges, Durk's formative years were shaped by an environment where survival often depended on alliances and resilience. As a member of the Black Disciples, a gang with deep roots in Chicago's history, Durk's life was intertwined with the codes and complexities of street culture.
Lil Durk will stay in jail. He's facing charges after a shooting at the Varsity in Midtown. It's one of the three things you need to know right now. The judge would not grant bond to the rapper, whose real name is Dirk Banks. He's facing charges after a man was shot outside the Varsity in February. The man survived. Banks turned himself into police yesterday.
This world would go on to influence his music deeply, making his lyrics a raw reflection of his experiences. The rise of drill music in the early 2010s provided Durk and his peers with a powerful platform to tell their stories. Drill, a subgenre of hip-hop, characterized by its gritty beats and stark depictions of urban life, resonated with audiences far beyond Chicago. At the forefront of this movement were Durk and Chief Keef, two young artists who quickly became symbols of the city's vibrant yet troubled music scene. Their respective crews, Only the Family, OTF, and Glory Boys Entertainment, GBE, were viewed as extensions of the same movement, embodying the unity and ambition of Chicago's South Side youth. Durk and Keef's friendship was a source of inspiration for many. Their collaborations, marked by a shared vision and mutual respect, reflected the solidarity that often emerges in communities facing shared struggles. In the early days, the two seemed inseparable, with Durk even making a cameo in one of Keef's early music videos. This appearance was more than just a professional move. It was a declaration of their bond, a public affirmation of the strength of their relationship. However, as their careers began to take off, the pressures of fame and the complexities of their affiliations began to test their friendship. By 2013, cracks had started to appear. That year, Durk's arrest on a firearms charge marked a turning point in his life and his relationship with Keef. Held on a $100,000 bond, Durk found himself in a precarious situation, and now, according to reports, he reached out to Keef, hoping his friend would help secure his release. At the time, Keef's career was soaring. He had signed a lucrative deal with Interscope Records and was enjoying the success of his breakout hit, I Don't Like. For Durk, it seemed natural to lean on his friend during such a critical moment, but the help never came. Instead, Keef's response, or lack thereof, was seen as a betrayal. Not only did Keef reportedly refuse to assist, but his comments during this period seemed to further distance himself from Durk's crew. Keef began promoting the idea of OTG, short for Only the Glow.
It seemed like Durk was GB, but then he also always claimed LTF, but it was,
It was like, we always like on some one, on the one type shit. Everybody was, GB was claiming OTF and shit. And then
a subtle but pointed shift away from the unity previously embodied by OTF and GBE. This slogan implied a separation, a rebranding that signaled to many that Keef was carving his own path, one that didn't include Durk or his team. Durk's eventual release only intensified the situation. With the help of his friends and associates, he was able to secure his freedom, but the damage to his relationship with Keef had already been done. In the months that followed, Durk began to address the fallout in his own way. In interviews, he hinted at the strain between them, careful not to escalate the situation, but clear enough to convey his disappointment. On social media, his post carried an air of defiance, a subtle reminder that he was forging ahead, with or without Keef's support.
Warning, I'm not Soulja Boy. This shit can get ugly. Chief Keef soon fires back by tweeting, "Just bought a 2013 four-wheeler for $10,000, which was the exact amount of money needed to bond out Lil Durk."
The tension between the two wasn't just personal. It was emblematic of a larger struggle within Chicago's music scene. As drill music gained national attention, the artists at its forefront were thrust into the spotlight, their every move scrutinized by fans, critics, and industry insiders. For Durk and Keef, This newfound fame brought opportunities but also amplified the challenges they faced. The loyalty that once defined their relationship was tested by the pressures of success, the weight of expectations, and the ever-present influence of their street affiliations. But while Durk appeared willing to mend fences, Keef's actions suggested otherwise. During this period, incidents involving members of their respective crews further complicated matters. Reports of burglaries and confrontations added fuel to the fire, with both sides trading subtle jabs in their music and public statements. Keef's reluctance to engage in direct dialogue with Durk only deepened the divide, leaving fans to speculate about the true nature of their relationship. One of the most telling moments came when Durk reflected on the dynamic between them, comparing their situation to the infamous feud between Rick Ross and Young Jeezy. "We don't look at it like that," he said, downplaying the seriousness of their conflict. Yet, his words carried a hint of frustration, a recognition that the unity they once shared had been fractured by circumstances beyond their control.
We all family, we all brothers, like, this what it is. But the actuality is, at the end of the day, it's like, all right, cool, now you gotta start getting on your shit if you wanna be at the top.
Over time, both artists appeared to move on, focusing on their respective careers and projects. Durk continued to rise in prominence, solidifying his place as one of the leading voices in drill music. Keef, on the other hand, took a step back from the limelight, relocating to Los Angeles and adopting a more laid-back approach to his career. While they occasionally crossed paths and even hinted at a renewed friendship, the lingering tension was never fully resolved. Looking back, the bond between Durk and Keef was a defining chapter in the history of Chicago's drill movement. Their friendship, while fraught with challenges, laid the foundation for a genre that continues to influence hip-hop globally. Though their paths diverge, their impact on each other and on the music world remains undeniable. It's a story of what could have been, a reflection of the promise and peril that come with success in an industry as demanding as theirs. Lil Durk's career has been one of incredible highs, but also one defined by intense rivalries that brought the streets of Chicago's drill scene to the forefront of hip-hop. Among these conflicts, none has been more infamous than his feud with Lil Jojo, a teenage rapper who became one of the most polarizing figures in the Chicago music landscape. Their rivalry wasn't just about music, it was deeply rooted in the social and gang affiliations that shaped their lives. As Durk's fame grew, this feud set the stage for even more high-profile conflicts, including an unlikely clash with West Coast rappers Tyga and The Game. Lil Jojo, born Joseph Coleman, was a young artist affiliated with the Gangster Disciples, GD, a rival group to the Black Disciples, BD, with whom Durk and his OTF crew were aligned. Jojo's music reflected the tensions that had long existed between these groups, but his bold approach brought this rivalry into the public eye in a way that was both unprecedented and dangerous. His most notorious move came with the release of his diss track BDK, Black Disciple Killer. It's a song that directly targeted the Black Disciples and their affiliates, including Lil Durk. For Lil Durk, BDK was both a challenge and a provocation. In his own music, Durk had frequently referenced his rivals, but JoJo's track took the conflict to a new level. Durk responded in kind, using his platform to address JoJo and his crew in his songs. Tracks like Competition included pointed references to JoJo's affiliations, fueling the back and forth between their camps. For fans, this feud was compelling, offering a raw and unfiltered look into the rivalries that defined Chicago's drill scene. But for those involved, it was far more personal and perilous. JoJo's death sent shockwaves through the Chicago music community. At just 18 years old, he had become a symbol of the dangers inherent in blending music with street politics.
Lil Jojo, goddamn, was killed by his damn friends. Whoever the nigga was, that was with him on that damn bike.
His passing was a stark reminder of the thin line between art and reality in the drill scene. For Durk, JoJo's death marked a turning point. While he continued to address the feud in his music, the loss underscored the tragic consequences of the lifestyle they were all navigating. As Durk's career progressed, his rivalries began to extend beyond the streets of Chicago. One of the most unexpected conflicts involved Tyga and The Game, two established rappers from the West Coast. Initially, Tyga approached Durk with a request to remove the line. Durk agreed on the condition that Tyga would feature on one of his tracks. For a rising artist like Durk, a collaboration with a well-known figure like Tyga could have been a significant boost. However, the agreement quickly fell apart when the feature never materialized. Feeling slighted, Durk decided to keep the lyric in his song and even doubled down, using it as an opportunity to make his feelings known publicly.
Lil Durk in the studio, Chris Brown, they doing their thing, they rapping or whatever. Durk in the, he in the, you know what I'm saying, in the booth, and he say something about China. Cud didn't like that, you feel me? He called me. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm coming up there. Boom. As soon as I hit the door, I see everybody in there. Joe Moses in there, Chris Brown in there, Lil Durk in there. Everybody in there.
What followed was a series of diss tracks that escalated the situation. Tyga responded with subtle jabs, but the conflict reached new heights when the Game stepped in to defend his West Coast ally. Known for his confrontational style and loyalty to his region, the Game added fuel to the fire with his own verses, taking direct shots at Durk. For his part, Durk didn't back down, releasing his own diss tracks that targeted both Tyga and the Game. The exchange was a spectacle, capturing the attention of fans and media alike.
Tyga hit me, he was like, I want you on this song, man, and I'm beefing with, Lil Durk. I'm like, I don't even know who Lil Durk is, so I did my research, and then I did my verse, and then Tyga phased out of it, then it was just me and Durk beefing. Yeah.
The feud culminated in a face-to-face confrontation at a nightclub in Los Angeles. Durk and the Game's camps reportedly crossed paths, leading to a tense standoff. For a moment, it seemed like the situation could spiral into violence, but industry veterans stepped in to mediate. Cooler heads prevailed, and the incident ended without further escalation. However, the tension between the two camps lingered, with both sides continuing to throw subtle jabs in interviews and social media posts. While this conflict lacked the tragic undertones of Durk's feud with JoJo, it highlighted the challenges he faced as his career grew. As a rising star in the world of hip-hop, Durk was navigating a landscape where personal slights could quickly escalate into public disputes. At the same time, his background in the drill scene gave him a unique perspective on loyalty and respect, shaping the way he approached these conflicts. The rivalry with Tyga and the Game also underscored the differences between Durk's world and that of his West Coast counterparts. For Tyga and the Game, the feud was primarily a matter of pride and image, played out in the public eye but largely disconnected from their personal lives. For Durk, it was more than that. A continuation of the challenges he had faced in Chicago, transplanted to a new setting but rooted in the same principles of loyalty and credibility. Von's death was not just a personal loss for Durk.
To November of 2020, this is when one of the other people on his record label, I should say rapper King Von, was killed. This is after he got into a fight with Quando Rondo.
It was a devastating blow to the entire hip-hop community. Known for his authenticity and vibrant personality, Von had quickly become a fan favorite, earning accolades for his storytelling and charismatic delivery. His loss was deeply felt by fans, friends, and collaborators alike, and the circumstances of his death only amplified the tragedy. For Durk, it marked the loss of a brother in arms, someone who had shared his vision and represented the future of OTF. The fallout from Von's death extended far beyond personal grief. It reignited the feud between Durk and NBA YoungBoy, turning an already contentious rivalry into an all-out war of words. YoungBoy's affiliate Quando Rondo was directly involved in the altercation that led to Von's death, and this connection made the rivalry even more personal. In the weeks that followed, both sides released diss tracks that addressed the incident, stoking the flames of animosity. For Durk, the loss of Von wasn't just a tragic end to a promising career, it was a reminder of the harsh realities of the life they had both lived. Von's death underscored the risks inherent in navigating both the music industry and the street politics that often intersect with it. Despite his grief, Durk channeled his emotions into his music, using his platform to both honor Von's legacy and address the ongoing challenges he faced. As if Von's loss wasn't enough, Durk's journey was also marked by the death of another significant figure in Chicago's drill scene, FBG Duck. Duck, born Carlton Weekly, was one of the most polarizing and outspoken rappers in the city. Known for his unfiltered approach and willingness to call out rivals, Duck's music often reflected the tensions and rivalries that defined Chicago's drill culture. His breakout track Slide showcased his talent and brought him national recognition, but it was his controversial song, Dead Expletive, that became a lightning rod for controversy. Tragically, Duck's life came to a violent end in August 2020. While shopping in Chicago's affluent Gold Coast district, he was ambushed by 4 men who opened fire in broad daylight. Duck sustained multiple gunshot wounds and was pronounced dead at the scene. The brazenness of the attack shocked the city, and the location, far from the neighborhoods typically associated with gang violence, highlighted the extent to which these conflicts could spill over into any setting. Durk's response to Duck's death, whether through his music or his public statements, highlighted the complexity of his position. As one of the most prominent voices in drill music, he was both a product of his environment and a participant in its ongoing conflicts. His songs often walked a fine line, addressing the pain and loss he had experienced while also asserting his dominance in a genre where credibility is paramount. The deaths of King Von and FBG Duck represent 2 of the most significant losses in Durk's journey, each carrying its own weight and implications. Von's death was a deeply personal tragedy, the loss of a close friend and collaborator who had embodied the promise of a brighter future for OTF. Duck's death, on the other hand, was a stark reminder of the dangers of the drill scene and the stakes involved in its rivalries. Together, these events paint a picture of a world where art and reality are inextricably linked, and where the cost of success can sometimes be unbearably high. For Durk, these losses have shaped his music and his outlook on life. They have forced him to grapple with the consequences of his choices and the responsibilities that come with his platform. Through it all, he has remained a voice for his community, using his music to both reflect on his experiences and chart a path forward. While the pain of these losses will never fully fade, they have become a part of his story, a testament to the resilience and determination that define his journey. Durk's involvement in these events extends beyond music. Allegations have surfaced suggesting connections to violent incidents, further complicating his public image. One of the most significant accusations is related to the death of FBG Duck, with claims that associates of Durk were involved. While these allegations remain unproven, they highlight the blurred lines between street life and artistry in the drill music scene. Despite the controversies, Durk's impact on hip-hop is undeniable. He has emerged as a voice for his generation, using his platform to highlight the struggles of his community while also navigating the pitfalls of fame. His story is a complex tapestry of loyalty, ambition, and the harsh realities of life in Chicago's South Side. As we continue to follow Lil Durk's journey, his life serves as both a cautionary tale and a testament to resilience. His story encapsulates the challenges and triumphs of an artist striving to succeed against the odds, leaving an indelible mark on the world of music and beyond.